morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today to learn more about IXL. We're really excited that you're here, and this is going to be a session led by Mr. Ryan King. He works at IXL, so we got an expert to tell you all about the product, and we hope you enjoy his presentation this morning. All of your students have access to IXL as part of Newton County school system, so we hope that you are going to use it and that you learn how you can use it as a parent. And we are going to start, starting a meeting on time is very important because we respect your time and we thank you for being here. This meeting will be recorded, so you'll have an opportunity to view it on our Instructional Technology Parent University page at a later date. And I'm going to go ahead and turn everything over to Mr. King, and he will tell you all about IXL.
Thank you for that introduction, Dr. Williams. Yeah, my name is Ryan King. I work for IXL as a district partnership specialist, and pleasure to be with you here today to kind of showcase IXL to you as parents, get you to have a little better understanding about what IXL is, how you can use it with your children at home, kind of give you a glimpse into how they're using it in their schools. And just hopefully you walk away with a little better knowledge about how it's going to be used as a support for your children. And then, of course, how you as the parent can kind of monitor that progress at home. So pleasure to be here with you today with Newton County. I do have to say, since I'm speaking to folks that live in and around that Atlanta area, I don't know about you, I am a huge Atlanta Braves fan. I live down here in Florida, but hopefully I'm speaking to a lot of Braves fans. I'm on cloud 9 right now. Been a long time since we won that World Series. So again, pleasure to be with you all here today. A little bit about myself. I've spent the last almost 2 decades working in public education. I was a teacher myself, math teacher. I've been a brick and mortar school administrator. And then I'm also a parent just like you. I have 2 children. I have a 5th grader and a 10th grader. They both, or I should say now only my 5th grader utilizes IXL, but I've been able to see what it's like on the parent side of things, how I can monitor his progress, even though, he might be using it through his school. I can still access everything from my end as a parent to make sure that he's making adequate progress in the skills that are assigned from his teachers. So I'll walk you through all of that today. Here's the agenda for what we're going to cover here today. I'm going to walk you through navigation of the platform. So when you're at home working with your child, you're going to know how to get around the platform, right? Know where to click to find their diagnostic levels, the skills they've been working on. We'll go ahead and go through a skill demonstration today so that you can see all of the different supports that are available to your children as they're working on skills inside IXL. I'm going to give you a little bit of background on what we call the SMART score. The SMART score is what you're going to be able to use as a parent, same as a teacher, to really determine how successful your child is in a certain skill. All right, so we'll kind of review that. I'll go over how you can utilize the diagnostic, and a lot of your child's, teachers, they're already using the diagnostic with their students in class, but I'll show you how you can locate their levels and see all of those personalized recommendations that come from IXL. And then, of course, I do want to show you how you can monitor your child's progress. All right. As Dr. Williams already mentioned, everyone in Newton County has access to IXL this school year. It is a program that's available for kindergarten through 12th grade. Your students in Newton County have access to both math and ELA. So you have the opportunity, or your child has the opportunity, to practice skills in both math and ELA. Most likely they're already doing that through their teacher at their school. Little background on what IXL is. IXL is a personalized learning platform. All right, so we're built on these 4 key components that you see on the screen. So we have a comprehensive actually pre-K through 12th grade curriculum. So even if you have, let's say you have your child is a 4th grade student, even though they are a 4th grade student, they have access to all of the skills from pre-K through 12th grade. So whether your child's in 4th grade and maybe needs to fill in some gaps from some 2nd or 3rd grade skills, or maybe your child's accelerating as a 4th grader and they need access to 5th and 6th grade skills, they'll be able to access those in both math and ELA. We offer that real-time diagnostic. And again, I'll walk you through that in a little bit. But that diagnostic, it's going to reveal what your child's levels are in math and in ELA. And then based on the results of their diagnostic, that really helps power this third component, those personalized recommendations. So again, IXL is a personalized learning platform. The idea is the more skills and the more time spent on skills and in the diagnostic, IXL is going to be able to really provide a lot of personalized guidance to your children about those next skills that they need to tackle. And then the fourth component are those analytics. And I'm going to make sure today that you walk away knowing exactly what your students and you as a parent have access to as far as that data on all of your child's practice. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. So first things first, how are your students accessing IXL? Just want to make sure you are aware. Most of the time, your students are going to be logging in to IXL through their ClassLink Launchpad. So when they're at school, when they're at home, they can access IXL along with any other applications that they're using for school via their ClassLink Launchpad. Now, you can also access IXL, and I'll put this link. I just went to it right here. You can also access IXL through their a unique URL. And let me copy that and put that in the chat box. So I just put that URL in the chat box for you. Again, you can access IXL either through the ClassLink Launchpad or through that URL. Of course, your student, if they go through the URL, they're going to need to know their username and password. Obviously, the benefit of using the ClassLink Launchpad is that they're already signed in to that Newton County School District portal where they can access IXL and all of their other web-based applications. And give me just 1 second here. I just need to reshare real quick. Hold on 1 second. I apologize, my slides went away. So I just need to recall those slides and then I can get back to the presentation. So just give me 2 seconds to get those slides up. All right. So hopefully you're back to seeing my screen again. I apologize. Kind of lost my slides there for a second. So we were just talking about how your students would navigate, how your students would sign in to IXL. So the next thing I want to really go over with you is just kind of that basic navigation of the platform. So I do want to let you know, as a parent, you do not have a separate login to IXL. Okay, so when you're viewing your child's access or progress on IXL, you're going to do it through their account. So when your child's at home, you simply ask him or her to log in to that ClassLink Launchpad, access the IXL application, and then from there, within the child's account, this is where you as the parent have the ability to see everything that they see, their practice, their diagnostic, their analytics. So let me go into a student account, and I'm going to show you exactly what the student sees when he or she logs in. So this is where your child will land, okay? So your child will land on what we call their recommendations wall, all right? So the recommendations wall, as a parent, a great way for you to use this, if you simply want your child to get on IXL and practice some skills that are going to be meaningful for them and right on their level, the recommendations wall is a perfect place to start. So this is the student's landing page, okay? As a parent, scroll down on this page. You will see an endless wall of recommended skills in both math or ELA. You'll also see skills that come from the student's diagnostic. Now, the best part about this page right here, this landing page, is that every single one of these skills is a perfect skill for your child to work on. Because remember, it's a personalized learning platform. Everything that is recommended to your child is based on all of their work that they've done in other skills and all of the work that they've done inside the diagnostic. All right. Now you have the ability to kind of filter down. If you only wanted your child to look at recommendations for language arts, you could simply click on this little icon here, this little book. And now I'm only seeing recommendations for language arts. Or if I wanted to click on this little icon over here, this little pyramid, now I can only see math recommendations. So you're going to have a couple of ways to filter that recommendations wall. But if you're ever looking, if your child you think ever has any spare time and you want them to get on IXL and do some additional practice, all you have to do is, go to the recommendations wall, and from there they can click on any skill, and you can see, hundreds and hundreds of skills that are available to them. All right, I just received. Yep.
Hi, there were 76 people waiting in the lobby. Can you just show them how they can get back in again?
Yeah, do you want me to go back to the how they can access?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So just going back just a minute, just as far as being able to access IXL, your children, probably the easiest way for them to access IXL is going to be via their ClassLink Launchpad. All right. In the chat box, I did post the URL that can also be used, and you can see it on this image on the screen, ixl.com/signin/Newton CSD. But if they actually type in that web address, then your child is going to have to know their username and password. And a lot of times that's not a username and password that they use very often, right? But most of your children should know how to access ClassLink and how to get to all of the applications that they have available to them. So my best advice would be have them log in through the ClassLink Launchpad. If you just joined, I also wanted you to know something I mentioned already was that you as a parent, you don't have a separate parent account. So you're actually going to log in through your child's account when you're at home monitoring their progress. All right. And this next screen here, what I was showing, as you probably just came in, was I was showing you this is your child's landing page, okay? When they sign into IXL, they land on the recommendations wall. This is where they see hundreds and hundreds of recommendations of the different skills that they can practice. So if you ever want your child to get on IXL to do some additional practice, this is a great place to come. There's a lot of student choice involved right here, right? Students can go to math recommendations, language arts recommendations. It's completely up to them. And a lot of times when you give your child that choice, they're going to be more motivated and encouraged to do some extra work. All right, let me go back to the live site. So now we're working at the live site. We're on the recommendations wall. When your children sign in, this is where they will see that they have access to math and language arts. So as a parent, if you were looking for a particular skill to help support your child's learning, you could I'll go to math. And you'll recall what I said at the beginning of today's session. Your child has access to pre-K all the way through 12th grade curriculum. So regardless of their grade level, you have the ability, just as the teachers do, to find the exact right skill to help support your child's learning. Whether that's a skill that's below their grade level and they need to fill in a gap, or whether that's a skill that's above grade level because you're using IXL for acceleration. So just know that you have the ability to find any skill at any grade level for both math and language arts. Now, I want to show you something under here called skill plans, because your children have access to a couple different textbook skill plans. So the exact textbooks that your children are using in their schools, we have built custom alignments to those. So for example, I know that in your school system, our K-5 students in Newton County are using Envision Math. So if your child comes home to you, let's say your child is a 7th grader, okay, or sorry, 5th grader, K through 5, 5th grader. I'm going to click on 5th grade. And let's say that you know that in class today, they were working on topic 5, lesson 2, estimate quotients with 2-digit divisors. And they said, you know, Mom, Dad, I don't have any homework tonight, right? And you said to them, well, what did you just do in class today, right? Well, we did lesson 5-2. Well, as a parent, you could come into that textbook skill plan and you could ask your child to work on the exact skill that is going to give them some additional practice, okay? So textbook skill plans, we have those available for Envision Math, that's your kindergarten through 5th grade students. Big Ideas Math, that's if you're a parent of a 6th grader through 12th grader. And then also Study Sync, which is ELA, 6th through 12th grade. So we do have several textbook skill plans available for your children. And again, that's a quick and easy way for your child to get some additional practice with the exact skills that they are working on in class. Okay, I see a question. It says, oh, someone was just reminding that I moved off the recommendations wall. Correct. I'm still on my learning tab. Okay, if I look here at my learning tab, right? This is where we landed when a child signs in. And all I've done so far, I've clicked on skill plans and I had clicked on math. Now let me click back on skill plans.
Hey, Ryan.
Yep.
So I'm not seeing anything move on the screen. Like all I'm seeing is just a page that's frozen.
Okay. Is that true for everything else? Everybody else?
Yes, we're still on the landing page. Mm-hmm. When you were referencing the skill.
Okay, let me just stop share and reshare. That's all. It is only allowing me to share one screen at a time right now. So let me go to Okay, so now you can see, and if I click on skill plans, now it's going to skill plans, correct?
Perfect. Now we can see
Yes.
it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, apologize. Yeah, it was only showing one screen at a time. So what I was doing was I had navigated away from that recommendations wall to the skill plans page. And I was pointing out that if you click on textbooks, we have many of those textbook alignments already built in. Your kindergarten through 5th grade students in Newton County utilize Envision Math. And so the example I'd use was 5th grade. So if I click on 5th grade, if your child, I said, came home and said, oh, I just worked on topic 5, lesson 2 today, right? Or, whatever chapter or whatever topic or unit that they're working on, as a parent or a student, I can quickly find skills that are directly aligned to the exact lesson that I did in class that day, right? I can come in and say, okay, I just did lesson 5-2. Here is the perfect skill that's going to give me some additional practice. So again, I think in the example I used, child comes home, says to you, I don't have any homework tonight, right? I hear that a lot from my own children. Well, they may not have any homework, but maybe this is a way that you could help support their learning. You could say, well, I know if you go to your skill plans, find your textbook, you can go to the exact lesson that you just were taught in class today by your teacher. You can find some skills that you can work on. And from there, they could click directly into the skill and get a little additional skill practice. Okay, so that's a textbook skill plan. Let me also show you, if you have a high school student, you may be interested in the following skill plan. I'm back on my skill plans page. I'm in test preparation. So inside our test prep, there's 2 specific skill plans I want to point out to you for those high school parents. That's our ACT and our SAT. And those are available in both math and ELA. If I go to SAT, I can actually create my own study plan. And this is true for ACT as well. If I've taken an SAT or ACT and I have my scores already, I can actually input my scores, input my sub-scores. I can click on create a study plan, and that's actually going to generate a personalized plan of skills that your child can use in order to hopefully increase their SAT or ACT score. All right. And so I always recommend that, your school district has already purchased this license for your child. So before you go out and spend all that money on a SAT or ACT class, go ahead and go inside IXL, utilize this free software that's already available to your child. I always encourage when I talk to high school administrators that they promote this within their schools. This is free for you, right? Again, your school district has already purchased this. You might as well utilize all of the platform. Okay, so that was skill plans, test prep, and I used SAT as my example, but you can also do it for the ACT, you can do it for the PSAT. So if your child's getting ready to go off to college and they're taking these assessments, go ahead and get them some personalized practice. All right. Now I'm going to click on this next button here, which is my diagnostic. And remember, as a parent, you're simply doing this from your child's account, okay? So when you click on diagnostic, this is where your child is able to access the diagnostic and answer questions. And this is where you as a parent and a child, this is where you would be able to see their overall score. So if your student had already completed the diagnostic, you would see what their levels are. You would see, okay, where are their strengths, right? In which strand are my child's scores the highest? In which strand are they the lowest? And of course, from there, that's going to help you know, okay, where does my child need some of that additional support? All right. So when you go into the diagnostic, right, click on diagnostic, you simply scroll down, you'll see all the information about math. You'll see all the information about language arts. you'll know exactly what your child's overall grade level proficiency is. And you'll also know, again, what is their proficiency across the different strands. And you'd be amazed, really. You're going to see that, your child may be a fifth grader and they may be showing an overall fifth grade level, but their strand data often varies, right? They may be really strong in fractions, but they may be, have a real opportunity for growth in geometry. So again, they're going to receive personalized recommendations that are going to be, perfect for them. All right, let me go on to a skill. Let me show you what it looks like when your child practices a skill. So when your child is practicing a skill on IXL, I want to point out to you that there are various different supports available to them. So one of those supports is before they start practicing a skill, they can always click on this Learn with an Example. So I'll go ahead and click on that. That Learn with an Example is going to give your child a reminder of any key ideas or any key terms that they're going to need to know in order to be successful in the skill. So I'm on a skill right here, which asks me to identify common and proper nouns. You can see that it's going to remind me and define what is a noun, what is a common noun, what is a proper noun. And then your child's actually going to see an exact problem-specific solution. And then when they're ready to go back to their practice, they click on Back to Practice and they begin answering questions. All right, so that's one type of support that is available to your child. Let me go to a math skill and let me show you. Now, our math skills, not only have that Learn with an Example. I apologize, I already answered one question in this demo student's account, so that Learn with an Example link has gone away, but I also wanted to show you that your 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students, or for that matter, any student working on a 6th, 7th, or 8th grade skill, they also have this link right here called Watch a Tutorial. And that's actually going to play. That's going to play about a 3 to 5 minute video for your child. So I bring this to your attention as a parent because that Learn with an Example and that Watch a Tutorial, those could also be really helpful for you, right? It may have been a long time since you've done some of this upper level language arts or upper level math, or maybe you just need a little refresher. So I would encourage you to get in there, use the Learn with an Example, use the Watch a Tutorial. It not only helps your student, it could also help you. All right. Now let me show you what happens as your child is answering questions inside IXL, right? They submit their response. They always get immediate feedback. All right. So they're going to know whether they're on the right track or not as they're working inside IXL. If they get a question incorrect, right? If they get a question incorrect, they're going to know that they got the question incorrect, but we're going to show them some specific feedback and some specific reminders of, here's how you answered, right? Here's a step-by-step walkthrough of how you could have answered successfully. And here's an idea of those key reminders that you need to be successful in this skill. All right. Now, I see a question that just came in the chat box regarding the SMART score. So yeah, let me talk you through that SMART score. So take a look at what's happening in this area of my screen as I walk through a couple sample problems. So if I'm getting questions correct, my SMART score goes up, okay? At the beginning of the skill, it may go up 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points. All right, so I'll keep answering a couple questions. My SMART score continues to go up. Now, if I get a question incorrect, right? Let's say I get this next one incorrect, my SMART score will drop a couple of points, okay? So that SMART score, it's not a percentage, okay? It is based, like it says, out of 100, but it's not a percentage. The SMART score is really taking into account the level of difficulty of the question. It's taking into account how consistent and accurate has the child been in his or her responses. All right, so the SMART score does go up to 100, all right? And I'll hover over that so you can kind of read that little pop out there. But when your students are working on IXL skills, they may not always get to 100, and that's okay, right? That's okay. A score of 80 means they are proficient in the skill, and a score of 100 means that they've mastered the skill. And certainly, I'm going to leave that up to your child's school and your child's teachers as to what they expect out of their students. But just so you're aware, very often reaching a score of 80 or proficiency, that is enough to inform you as a parent that your child has a solid understanding of the skill and they're ready to move on to tackle that next skill. Now, of course, if your child is motivated and encouraged to work beyond that 80 and try to get all the way to mastery, kudos to them. And I love seeing when students can reach mastery. But just so you know, when you're checking your child's progress, it's okay if they're not able to reach 100 on each and every skill. As you can see in that little pop-up where I'm hovering there, when your child gets to a SMART score of 90, they enter the challenge zone, and that's where they're going to see the toughest questions that are available to them. So just know that as they're working hard through that, through that skill, if they can only reach an 80, that still is proficiency, and you still know as a parent that they're doing really well in that skill. All right. All right. So that was all about the SMART score. Let me click. I'm going to stop share real quick and go to a different account so I can show you how you can monitor your child's progress. And it is not letting me. All right. So when you're ready to monitor your child's progress, you simply click on Analytics. Okay, so I'm going to click on Analytics. And inside Analytics, you're actually going to have several different analytics reports available to you. Okay, and let me actually.
Ryan, your screen is not showing. It's just showing that just started sharing your screen. We'll see a blank black screen.
All right, can you see it now?
We're seeing the sign-in screen.
Yeah, okay, right.
Okay.
Okay, good. I'll sign, yeah, now I'll sign in. I wanted to make sure you could see it before I signed in. Okay, so you can see my screen. It seems like we're good now.
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. All right, so from your student's account, when you're ready to really get in there and monitor their progress, go ahead and click on Analytics. And so you're going to have several different analytics reports available to you. So depending on what you want to see about your child's progress, you could use a different report. So the first one that you're going to land on is usage. And very obvious, that is just going to tell you all of the times that your child has logged into IXL, how they are using the platform, right? What subjects are they using? How many questions did they answer? How much time did they spend? So in some of your child's schools, they may have an expectation that they're spending a certain number of minutes per week, or they might have an expectation that they're working on a certain number of skills each week. So you as the parent can come into IXL, click on analytics, click on usage. You could decide, I only want to look at math. I only want to look at language arts. You also have this date range filter. And so if you're checking on a week by week basis, maybe you change this filter to the last 7 days, or maybe you put in a custom date filter. I'll leave mine on 30 days. And notice what I can see as a parent. And this is my exact child right here. So I'm showing you exactly how I view his progress, right? So I can see that in that last 30 days, I can see how many questions he's answered, how much time he spent, how many skills he's worked on. As I scroll down, IXL is actually going to keep a record of the date and time that your child practiced on IXL. So if they ever come to you and tell you, Mom, Dad, I spent 2 hours working on my IXL. Well, if I were you, I would say, go into their usage and you could really verify just how much time they did spend on a certain date. But probably more important, open up one of these individual sessions. And as the parent, you can get an idea for the exact skill that was worked on, how much time was spent, how many questions did they answer, how many did they get right or wrong, what was their SMART score progress. All right, so it looks like just yesterday, my son worked on November 11th, right? It looks like he worked on this skill for 8 minutes. His SMART score went from 0 to 43. He worked on this specific skill for 16 minutes, and he brought his SMART score from 0 to 100. So yesterday, he showed mastery on one skill, and he only worked for about 8 minutes on another skill, so he would need to come back to this skill if he wanted to keep progressing. But as a parent, you could open up each individual session. You can actually go question by question. You can see the exact questions that your child is answering. All right. And if you wanted to know, okay, well, I see this question here. Did my child get it correct or incorrect? Well, go ahead and click on this link that says view all 57 questions. And this is actually going to take you to our second analytics report, which is the questions log. And here, this is how a teacher sees it. This is how a student sees it. And of course, you as a parent, you can see every single question that your child has answered. Maybe you're interested more in just the missed questions. So you could go ahead and click on show missed questions only. And what I like about this is now that I'm only going to see the missed questions, it's a little more, certainly as a teacher, it was a little more helpful for me if I could see just a handful of missed questions by my math students. I could usually quickly tell what the student was doing wrong, right, in the process. So by only showing the missed questions only, I'm only looking at those incorrect responses. Apologize, it looks like it's taking a while to load. I think it's because there's 76 total questions, but hopefully you get the idea. If you click on that little button there, you would only see their missed questions, leaving their correct responses out. All right, so that's the questions log. Now, scores is really simple. It's just their SMART scores on all of the content that they've worked on. All right, so I know he's done a lot of 6th grade work this school year. So I'm looking at 6th grade math. If you were more interested in language arts, click on language arts, find your child's grade level or the grade level of skills that they're working on. You could always change that date filter if you'd like. And then you can just go skill by skill. Okay, he has a 100 as a SMART score on this skill, a 68 on this skill, a 72 on this skill. You can see how many questions were answered, how much time was spent, when was the last date that he practiced. So you can get a lot of information about those SMART scores on your students. And what you're going to notice is you're going to see a lot more blanks than you do SMART scores. And that's because at every grade level, there's 400 or 500 skills available to your child. So there's no way that they're going to be able to tackle every single skill. And that's okay, right? It's more important that the skills that they do decide to work on, that they try to work those skills to proficiency or to mastery. Okay? So it's okay if you see a lot of blanks. That doesn't mean that your child's not doing their IXL practice. It simply means they haven't attempted that skill yet. All right, 2 more reports. One is trouble spots. This report is going to show you any skill that your child has worked on where they missed 3 or more questions at a certain level within that skill. So every single skill is broken out into levels. Recall that I said before, the questions do get more difficult as your child progresses through a skill. And so if they hit any kind of roadblock in a skill and they miss 3 or more questions, we're going to consider that a trouble spot. And again, that's something we just want to bring that to the teacher's attention, the student's attention, the parent's attention. Clearly, the child needs a little bit of intervention here because something is missing that is not allowing them to make that progress in the skill. So that's trouble spots. And then the last report that you have available is progress. And progress is probably something that a lot of you are going to want to see because you simply come into progress, you set your date filter, and then you can just see every single skill for math, for ELA, for every single grade level of skill that they've worked on. And you can see the name of the skill, how long they worked, how many questions they answered, and that SMART score. And as a parent and as a teacher, as an educator, what I'm looking for when I look at student progress, I'm hopefully seeing a lot of those SMART scores at 80 or higher, right? Because that tells me that my child didn't just pop into a skill, answer a handful of questions, and give up, right? I want to see that my child or my student has really, shown that grit, really persevered. And again, hopefully the end result is that I see a SMART score at 80 or higher, because that's going to tell me as a parent that my child is at least proficient, if not mastered the individual skill. All right. So I know we've covered a lot. Just a couple reminders for you. You don't have a separate parent account, right? You're going to access IXL when your child is at home. They log in through their ClassLink Launchpad. Once they're signed in, you could click on the Learning tab. That was where they see all of those personalized recommendations. That's where you can access that textbook skill plan or that SAT, ACT skill plan. You could also click on math or language arts. You could look by grade level if you were trying to find a skill for your child to practice on. Diagnostic. Diagnostic is where you click, and it's where your student can click into the diagnostic arena to continue their diagnostic, or it's where you as a parent, and this is probably a better example to show you, this is where you can see their levels, right? It looks like this student here is at a 680. So that would be 6th grade, 80% of the way through the school year. I can see that they have scores for their different strands. So this particular student, their lowest strand happens to be fractions. So if I saw that, I would probably tell this student, why don't you work on one of those skill recommendations under fractions, right? Because after all, that's your lowest strand, and I want to try and fill those gaps to get it up as high as all of your other strands. Okay. And then analytics, and that's what we just spent the last 10 or 15 minutes on. And that was how you can see all of those different reports on your child's progress. So again, IXL is a brand new platform to Newton County this year. I've had the pleasure of training already several hundred teachers and administrators. I just met with elementary administrators yesterday. I'm meeting with secondary administrators next week. We are seeing tremendous usage of the platform. I think it's really been embraced by a lot of the schools, a lot of the teachers, and hopefully now I just kind of gave you some extra tools to help you monitor and support your child's use of IXL this school year.